Know when we're ready.
There we go. Looks like we are live on
Boom.
Facebook. Woo!
Boom shakalaka.
Okay, guys. Well, it is Tuesday. We are super excited. We are in week 3 of the database building challenge. A round of applause for everyone who has made it this far. There's been so many great wins that we have heard about. All of the awesome prospects that's been coming out of this, and the database, really building that database, utilizing this time of the year is like fantastic. And everyone's doing a really good job of planning out their Christmas cards and all of that stuff. So really proud of everyone. And I know there's gonna be a lot of people catching this on a replay. So I am talking to you too, even though you couldn't make it today to the live session. But we are going to jump into week 3. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Here we go. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to present. There we go. Let's see here. Perfect. Oops. Here we go. So again, we are here. We can build our business by simply building a profitable database, a database that is going to be able to really transition into the transactions that you really want. And the transactions you really want come from the relationships that you're able to build. So over the last 3 weeks, we have talked about building, nurturing, and now this week, we're going to be talking about converting our database. So let's start off with a recap. Then let's start off with a recap.
Awesome. So the first thing that we did was we understood if we're going to close 50 plus transactions over the next 12 months and ride through this so-called recession, like without participation, basically, then this was the first step. This was number 1, which was building our database. We were collecting the people that we are going to be loving on and nurturing on, right? So number 1, in the first week, we learned how to build our database. And number 1, we were intentional about who we put in that database. And we got clear on who our ideal client is and the qualities and the price range that they live and buy and sell in, right? Because if I remember correctly, you guys said that you guys wanted to be in the $600,000 plus price range. And some of you even were like gung-ho about being 750 plus and even in the $900,000 plus on average. So this is how you can get very intentional about, the kind of income that you're making as a result. And so with that, we learned how to call and reconnect with those people that were our ideal client. And we also connected with them. And then we learned to send a handwritten card as a follow-up. So it's a good personal touch to to follow up with the heartfelt conversation.
Absolutely. So a little recap of week number 2 was all about nurturing.
Yep. And so this is last week how we learned how to systematically add value in real time. This is how we showed up and we were genuine, we were sincere. We learned how to connect on a very personal level, right? By warming with form, following up with family, asking about how family's doing, asking about, how work is doing with their occupation, asking what they've got planned for Thanksgiving. Remember, last week was the perfect week to ask about what they've got going on for the holiday, any travel plans. And then of course, their dreams, things that they're looking forward to. And so we learn how to continue to stay connected on that personal level, add value in real time. So I know you've got a lot going on. I use the scenario of a new baby coming, and I know she's got work, baby, and holidays. I know you guys are having a lot of people over, just like you, you had a bunch of people over at the house. What do you need to get knocked off your list or crossed off your list that is just will help you feel accomplished in this moment? right? And so I called the handyman, remember, got her connected with the handyman, got an appointment to set those Christmas lights up. Boom, value done in real time. So then Nicole also remembered to tell us to keep up with important dates and milestones. Before she made that call, she was looking on Facebook for clues of, things, big important things that have happened in the kids' lives, right? Of the person that she reconnected with after a long time. And so he was happy to hear from her. She was taking notes in her CRM about the littlest one who had just had a birthday, and recording all of the kids' names and important things about that conversation that she had had. And then she invited him to a holiday party. And in the nurturing that we learned last week, we learned to schedule something. So you can either do this quarterly, or, honestly, Nick and I like to do this thing monthly, where we get people together. They can come over to the house. I order pizza. They can stay as long as they want. They can stay as short as they want. Either way, I'm happy to get my hug, right? And just to be belly to belly with someone is the best way to develop relationships that are sincere, that are genuine, and they tend to go below the surface, right? Because when you can get to that real place with someone, that's where the magic happens. And from there, we learned to have a giveaway for the kids and for that spa gift card, because the women all want that massage and the men all want to gift their wife with that massage. So, and I don't know one kid that didn't go goo-goo over those Legos. So that was an opportunity to collect names of people that that everyone knew could, or that the people there could benefit from your services. So that was just a fun way of collecting referrals from your ideal clients, from the people that love to work with you, that have a great relationship and a rapport with you. And like we keep saying, birds of a feather flock together. So the people that you hang out with are going to be most like you. So your ideal client is going to be hanging out with people most like them. So you want to tap into their sphere of influence. You want to tap into their network. Boom, you start asking for more people that are just as cool as them, that could benefit from the service that you provide. And boom, they start giving you names and phone numbers of those people. And so that's just a good way for your time to pay off. Number one, in deepening a relationship, and then finding more people just like them.
Absolutely. So after the recap, thank you, Sten, for that. We are now on to our wins. So everyone has been doing an amazing job. I heard that actually Natalie was talking to me yesterday, and she said how she had made calls, right? She was like, I was scared to death. I didn't want to do it. I didn't do any calls the first week because I just couldn't get myself to pick up the phone. However, I watched the video a couple times, and then after week 2, hearing everyone's like, hey, how fun this has been and how much, really cool stuff they were getting from it. She was like, I just made myself call someone. And she's like, I started calling, and she says I made like 18 or 19 calls. And she says, these people, some of them I had, just seen a month ago, and other ones I had not seen in years. And she said that it was the most awesome conversations that she never expected, and reconnected with people. And I was like, that is awesome to hear, because that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be fun. God created us for community, and that's exactly what we're doing. We're creating the community in our business. And so it was really cool how she got great responses from everyone. She said this one that I even called, well, I didn't know this, but her sister's son plays football with my son. And I was like, really? And so they got into conversation. She's like, yeah, and I've never met her sister, even though they play football on the same team. And so we got connected, and they just happened to be looking for a home. And I actually showed them a home on Friday. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's freaking amazing. Thank you. Doing the hard work, you did it. And you got the result, the payout. So, here, I know that we don't have a lot of time today, so we're going to kind of zoom through the wins, but whoever has wins, go ahead and send them into the chat. I'd be excited to hear about them, how many prospects you got, and how many completed database entries, because based on that is how many we're going to get as far as transactions next year, right? So go ahead and put all of that in the chat box, and if you're watching this in Facebook group, put it in the Facebook comments, and then we will go over that and record it shortly. So coming up next to this is that we are going to be doing at the end, we're going to be doing a giveaway. Okay, so remember, it was on the 3 base things. It was the 100% completed database entries, how many prospects, and how many clients you receive or referrals. So we will be talking about that at the end. So stay tuned, because we do have the actual giveaways that we're going to be gifting away today.
Absolutely. So the 4 principles, this is what we're going to be talking about today. And we're putting it all together, and we've got 4 pillars, which are principles to converting your database. So now that you have been intentional about who you're putting in, now you know how to nurture them and how to love on them and provide them with value. These are now the 4 principles to converting that group of people. Number 1, we stay top of mind. Okay. Number 2, we stay intentional. Number 3, we stay valuable. And then finally, number 4, please stay available. Don't do all this work for nothing, only to do everything you need to do to catch the fish, and then you don't reel it in. Okay. So let's go ahead and deep dive into all of them.
Absolutely. So guys, today we're going to start with stay top of mind. Why is it so important? And you hear it all the time, stay top of mind. And again, it's a principle, but we really didn't know how to do that until the last few weeks, right? We really went with how to stay top of mind, how to reconnect, and how to do it in a fun way instead of, some of the coaches out there, they would say like, hey, call and ask for referrals, or call and ask if they know of anyone who's looking to buy or sell. And that's not how we want to stay top of mind, because that's not the thought that we want people to have when they're thinking of us, right? We want to think about those relationships, those hugs, those times we played with our kids together, the time that we all went out to have a pizza party, the time that we all went to an event like a Friendsgiving or something like that. That's what we want them to think of, because they're going to trust you. Remember, people buy from people who they like and trust and that they know. So obviously people already know you. So now they have to like you, and by liking you, they're going to end up trusting you over time. So you want them to stay top. You want to stay top of mind, but top of mind in a good way. So why is it so important to stay top of mind and never be forgotten? I shared a story in week 1. You can go back and reference that story. But basically, even your closest A pluses, which if you haven't watched week 2 yet, or week 1, it talks about your A plus people. Even those people you need to stay in contact with to stay top of mind, because we are so busy in our lives that we don't necessarily think about the things that are around us all the time, because there's just so much stuff thrown at us. So if someone's at let's say, for instance, okay, so Natalie, she called a person, that person's sister was looking for a house. So if Natalie had been top of mind already, you would have thought that since she knew this person, she would have told her sister, hey, call Natalie. But she didn't, because she was not top of mind yet. Now that she called her to say hello, she's now staying top of mind. And she's like, oh my gosh, my sister's looking for a house. And that's how it all worked, because she already had that connection. So to be able to get the connection without having to make that phone call first, that's where this comes from. So when they're in a conversation and their sister's like, yeah, so, Bob and I are looking to move, we're looking over there in the Live Oak area. I'm not really sure if I can find anything, in our budget or whatever it is. The sister's going to go, oh my gosh, girl, you got to use my realtor, Natalie. Like, she is the best, blah, blah, blah. Here's her phone number. And that's how that works. So when they're ready, the person that's in your database, or when their friend is ready, is what you're looking for. Now, we do know the statistic, 80% of prospects go with the first agent they meet, which means if they meet an agent at HEB, or if they meet an agent by a referral, it doesn't matter, but whoever's the first one they meet with is typically the one they go with. So what we're looking at is, okay, how do I become the first agent, number one? And then what are my odds if we're at a referral level? The odds are 3 times higher if you are a referred agent that they will meet with you. So if you're 3 times more likely to actually get that meeting, well, then you got it in the bag, right? Because you're the one that's referred. And so if you're the first one and the referred one, got it in the bag. And so at the end of the day, that's what we're looking for. It's being recommended by a friend. So the next one is going to be stay intentional. Cyn, take it away.
Yes, yes. So this is the part that I am I'd really like to hone in on this one, because number one, we like to work smarter and not harder. Some people like to spray and then pray. Some people like to take just anything that they can get their hands on because they just want to get their feet wet. Or, some people don't mind. They just want to feel like they are making progress. Well, at the end, when you finally come up for air, was it all really worth it? Right? And then you stop and think, well, how could I do things differently? How could I do things smarter this next go round? So I say, let's start measuring twice so that we can cut once now. So that is my philosophy behind staying intentional. And just remember, get really clear about who your ideal client is, because you're going to end up attracting a lot of those people. Okay. And do you want to attract a lot of very difficult people or a lot of very irresponsible people that make, getting a transaction complete just a nightmare? Do you want to get a bunch of very, just anyways, I'm not going to go there. Do you want to get a bunch of, great spirited people, always responsible, knows how to, respond when the lender needs something? Your job is so much easier. And to be honest with you, that is the kind of clientele that I've just been fortunate to be able to work with. And Nicole too, I've stayed in this business for over a decade, for 13 years, because I've actually enjoyed the people that I get to serve and that I get to work with. So, and that happened by being really, really intentional about who I choose to work with. And so knowing who your ideal client is, they have a psyche, okay? They have a mentality. They have interests, okay? They have a language that they respond to. They have things on their level of consciousness, on their level of being that they're into. And so when you're pushing content, okay, and you're reminding the world that you're a realtor, and you are posting things all over your website, out into the, cyberspace and onto all of your social media, make sure that the language that you are conveying is something that your ideal client will understand when they read it, when they watch it, when they see it. Okay. If they're, big finance gurus, post a bunch about, statistics, financial statistics, things that they would pick up on, things that they would be interested in. Okay. Commodities, the stock market, babies, families, mamas, what's going to make your life easier at home as you're managing a full house. Okay. So remember to push things out that is relevant to your ideal client. And then I love what Nicole really brings to this is just to really be mindful of all the milestones in their lives. Okay, so you just had a baby. Oh my gosh, do you know how many like congratulations things that I'm having delivered to all of my clients? Like, congratulations on your little bundle of joy. Now it's like, congratulations on your next little bundle of joy. And I'm sending like matching outfits for, big brother and now little sister, I love doing things like that. So be mindful of those milestones. And really, when you're talking to them, you have to, really get into what their desires, what their needs are, right? Because they're going to continue to evolve over time. And so that's where your phone calls and your belly to belly opportunities are really going to be essential, because then you're going to get into their heart. You're going to find out what is important to them. And then this is how you continue to feed the things that are important to your people. And so this is how you become lasting. This is how you become lasting, is you tap into their heart and all the things that are really important to them, and you begin feeding and nurturing that. They're not going anywhere. So this is how you stay intentional with your people.
Actually, guys, let's take a little note. So, Cynthia just hit on something that we're actually going to do an exercise on in just a few minutes. So take note of that last section: milestones, desires, needs, goals. Okay. That section is what we're going to be doing an exercise on. And that will help you to build your business that will be lasting however long you decide to last your business, right? If you want to be in real estate for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, 30 years, this right here will help you to plan ahead of time and never face that dip, right? Because every business will have a dip unless they have a plan. And so this will help you to look at those upcoming milestones and those next stages in their life that will be coming, right? If their kids are in high school, well, you all know they're going to downsize afterwards. Or if they're newly married couples, first-time home buyers, they're going to have kids. So you always want to be looking at that next stage. And so this is important for everyone to make note of what are those milestones that are typically happening in your ideal client's life. What are their desires, right? Are they young travelers? Are they, needing more like work related stuff? Are they all wanting like a close commute? Are they now all switching to like virtual? So now they just care about their lifestyle at home and having a home office. Like, where is their life going? So those are some things, just keep in the back of your head, because in a few minutes, we're going to be doing an exercise.
Awesome. So stay valuable. Remember, last week we talked about providing value in real time. So I was on the phone with Nick at the time, and she was going through a huge milestone of just having another baby, right? And so I was resourceful in that moment, like, what can I do to take off your list, because you have new baby and you're trying to prepare for a house full of people, and you've got to decorate and do all of this stuff in order to make your home presentable and ready. So number one, always be resourceful. Whenever you're making those phone calls, whenever you're belly to belly with someone, what can I do to help make your life easier? That's always the question that comes out of my mouth. And it just builds appreciation. It builds gratitude. And I love it. This is how I love to serve. And so become knowledgeable, right? Like, post statistics, post things that your audience, that your people need to know. So I provide a real estate investment statement, the REIS, and it's basically a customized market data about a CMA, a very customized, detailed CMA about what's happening in their neighborhood, and how the price of their home has either increased or decreased, or what kind of activity is going on in their neighborhood, to know, are their neighbors moving? Are they making money off of the sale of their home? Are they sitting on the market for a really long time? Are people not moving? Are people not going anywhere? So provide knowledge. And
I
then
want to
always,
add something to that one, Sen.
yeah,
I want to share this with everyone. There was an outlook, economic outlook done by the NAR economist. He's phenomenal. And it was just released a week ago. And so I've been sending this link to like everyone, right? Because it's an
yeah,
awesome resource. So what she's talking about as far as being resourceful and knowledgeable, again, depending on who your ideal client is, Cynthia and I both work with very affluent or investors or very highly educated people, right? So when you send them something that is of substance, where you have like an economic outlook and showing that, you know, we work in Texas and Florida, right? So if you showing this statistic shows that Texas and Florida are green, whereas the other 46 states are other colors, meaning that their economies are not as strong as Texas or Florida or Colorado. And so at the end of the day, if you're able to share something like that with them, if they're that highly educated person, they're going to be like, wow, I find this person valuable because they're sharing valuable information with me. And then this is great also to share with your teams, with your if you're a team leader, with your agents, just to watch yourself, to really educate yourself and know where to point people in the right direction for a lasting career. So I'll share that link with you. Actually, I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Go ahead, Sin, about contribution. Sorry.
yeah, but just basically overall contributing to the quality of their life. So that's adding value in real time. And we've already gone over several times, but anything that you can do to contribute, to improve their life, to make their life easier, to help their family, you know, say their child wants to, or they want their children to learn Spanish or another language or whatever it is. They need the right football coach, the basketball coach. They need a babysitter, whatever that looks like. Whoever you can continue to network with and connect them with, the better. And so while you are connecting with people, everyone, like Nicole says, definitely include, thank you, Jeremiah, definitely include business owners, people that you know could contribute to the quality of their life, that could satisfy the need that they need in real life, and nurture those relationships. Okay. I mean, who knows what kind of perks might come out of that. You know, you might get free services, or you might get, since they are a service provider, you might get a lot more referrals from them just by adding value to their life too. It's truly the rule of reciprocity.
I love that. Yesterday, I was at the Lexus dealership and I bought my Lexus at that dealership. And so the salesperson was there and saw me and said, "Hey, Nicole, how are you?" And I was like, "Oh, hey, Bobby." And we were sitting there, of course. I asked him, was the first question, "How are you? How was Thanksgiving?" Second question is, "How is business?" And he told me yesterday, he's like, "We're starting to see a slowdown." And of course, I'm like, "Party time, inflation's going to come down," right? And so we're having this intellectual conversation about business that affects not only his work, it affects his family. That's where all this points to, is it affects his family. And so, yes, that little resource, because I stay so educated on things and always have resources to give out, when you meet people, like for instance, he knew I was a realtor, but he's not sent me business because I haven't nurtured that relationship. Okay. So this was a great opportunity for me to say, "You know what, Bobby, I want to share this with you." Told him a little bit about it. Hey, he's like, "Yeah, absolutely." Gives me his cell phone number. Cha-ching. So start adding more people to that database by having those resources. That way you don't just ask people, "Oh, well, do you want a list of houses? I can put you in my database." That sounds so boring and impersonal. You want something, yeah, you want to be able to add value and be resourceful. So then you can, you know, on the playground when your 3-year-old, okay, I'm going to go with my life. I don't have a 3-year-old. I have a dog. Okay. So we live where there's a dog park right here. So I walk down the street, take my dog to the dog park. What happens? I meet people. The guy's like, yeah, I'm thinking about buying a house. Of course. I'm like, yeah, that's great. Am I going to say, let me send you a list of houses? I could, but every other realtor is going to do that. Why not give him something of value because he's new to the area? So if I'm constantly creating these areas or staying knowledgeable and resourceful, I can then hand out like, oh my gosh, yeah, let me send you whatever on the school district you're talking about, right? Because he has a 12-year-old. So let me send you whatever I have on that. And then I literally, what's your cell phone number? Here you go. You know what? I have something else I can email you. What's your email address? Right? So and that's really showing that you're going to be valuable as a service provider. So staying available. Okay. Well, this is a rock and a hard place. And I get it. As realtors, we are expected to be 24/7 and it really affects our quality of life. So let's talk about this. We're going to talk about what is the balance that suffices for good business practices and the balance that suffices for good quality of life on your personal life level. Okay. So when I became a first realtor, or the first year I was a realtor, I was the typical naive realtor, right? So that means that when someone called, it didn't matter if I was in my pajamas and I was on the couch finally resting from working 18 hours every single day. And it was Sunday and I was going to get ready to go to church. But instead I get a call. And what do? Jump. Of course, I'll be right there. So glad I'm not in that lifestyle anymore. But that's what we all did as a first year realtor, right? You jump, you throw on a pair of pants. Yeah, I'm right down the road. Actually, it'd be no problem for me to show you that house right now. You're not down the road. You ain't got makeup on. Your hair ain't done. You ain't got no clothes. Like, okay, but what do? You just do it, right? Because every single phone call, every single opportunity, it always runs through your mind, what if this is the one? What if this is the one, right? And you get there and yeah, you get the experience that way, but you burn out. And so if you can really start here and say, how can I be available for those people? Like Cynthia was saying, you don't want to spend this time reeling the fish or catching the fish, right? And not reeling it in, because the reeling in is when you cash the check, you get to eat the fish, right? So at the end of the day, you want to make sure that you're available to reel in the fish. You don't have too much responsibility in other areas or that you're just tired by that point. And so in that case, what you want to do is you want to make sure that when you're on vacation or when you're taking that day off, you want to make sure you have staff. Cynthia and I always have done this, right? To have a good quality of life, you can, and we can talk about this on another time, but I'm just going to talk about having like a virtual assistant or a person on your team or a partner agent. Doesn't matter. I've got all of them, right? Plus a lot more. So it depends on the call or the responsibility or how long I'm going on vacation or what day of the week it is to who I'm leaning on. I've got everything from showing agents to partner agents to agents on the team to multiple staff members. Now, I understand not everyone has that. I get it. But all you have to do is designate, hey, you know what? I'm going to take Mondays off. I'm going to take Sunday off. Whatever your day is, you want to make sure that you have someone that can cover you on that day, that the sign calls can go to, or that you can connect them to. If you want to continue to answer the phone, that's up to you. But like connect them with someone who can really help them in that moment instead of you saying, oh, I got to go send this list of homes. I'm sorry, I'll be right back. And coming back. Instead of doing that, you want to have someone else that's already available to do it. So why do we make it so important that you're always available? One, this is a business. This is not a hobby. Number two, 99.99% of buyers are impulsive. They make decisions on a whim. For instance, there's the one that walks into the car dealership, buys the car. They were never planning on buying a car. They were going to go look because they were going to buy a car next year. They bought a car on day one, right? There's those people. Then there's the people that are like me. I am the weird impulsive buyer. I'm the one that makes the call, does the research, and you've got a good salesperson following up all the time. Yes. I ignore them like the plague. I don't even answer their text messages. I'm so rude. Like, I'm horrible. And so I'll be like, yeah, I'll get to you next week. They call me next week. Next week. The next week. One day, I pick up the phone because I have already made a decision. I already know what I need and want. I pick up the phone to that salesperson that's been bugging me, right? That I've been ignoring. I pick up the phone, and if they're not available to service me, what happens?
You move on to the person that will.
Exactly. Well, I could call Hector. He could probably do the same thing. So what do? I pick up the phone. I call someone else who has not been working for my business, but I know can get it done because I'm ready to do it right that minute. I have time in my schedule, which I never have, right? I have resources to do it. I've already made the decision and I just need to get it done. And so those are the two types of people you're dealing with. Either way, you got to be available. So always have a system in place. If that system is, hours of the day that you answer your phone, hours of the day that your assistant takes the calls, it doesn't matter. Either way, you have a system that works for you and your lifestyle. Because we live in a world of instant gratification. We can get things done in an instant, literally. Anything we want can be like that. Sometimes it costs us more money. Sometimes it costs us time, whatever it is, but it's instant. You can make the decision and get the feeling you want right now. And people are impatient because of that. So they will not wait for you to get back from vacation. They've already, either their focus is gone, so they don't end up actually doing anything, or they've moved on to someone else. There's those two options and those two options only. So that's where we go with being available. Reel in that fish so that you can have a yummy dinner. Okay, so we are going to move on to our exercise. So we are going to do an exercise to help you really be able to plan out and have a consistent client base, that one that lasts for however long you plan on staying in business. So if everyone can take out your pen and papers and think about the next two things. One, we're going to think about the stage of life that your current ideal client is in and what will come next for them within the next 5 years. I'm going to give you an example. I was 2 days ago, I was talking to, I think he was like an inspector or something. Honestly, I don't remember who it was. I was talking to them and we were talking about, hey, how are you? That's great. Oh yeah, of course. Talking about family, of course, the whole convo, right? And I learned that he's like, oh yeah, man, as soon as the kids are gone off to college, Nancy and I, we're gonna, whatever they're gonna do, right? If it's travel, if it's, downsize, we're tired of this big old whatever, we never want an HOA again, whatever it is, right? Their dreams. So of course, my next question is, oh, how old are your kids? Are they about to graduate? He said, no, they're like 12, 14, and 15. It's like 5 years away, right? So people start planning that next thing because remember, people do not live in the moment. They live in the dream. They live in the thing that they are working towards, not the thing that they worked for. So if you're always living in the thing that you work towards, so you're thinking about, oh man, these kids are driving me crazy. I am just ready to be done. That's all high school parents, right? And they are done with them already. And so they're ready to start living that dream, right? Nancy's already going to be retiring next year, whatever it is, right? And so they already are planning. If it's people who are in college, you could have any spectrum, it doesn't matter. Let's say you're in college. What are those people thinking about? Getting a job. They're not thinking about college. When they're in high school, they're not thinking about high school, they're thinking about college. So every stage of their life, doesn't matter how old that person is, they're thinking about the next stage. So where is that person going to be in 5 years, or what do they want to be in 5 years? And what are the things that they're going to be doing now to get there? So the next part of this is how can you contribute to them in the current chapter and as they transition into the next? The only way you can do that is knowing where they're at, where they're going, and what they have to do to get there. So we're going to take 10 minutes. I'm going to leave this on the screen. I'm going to set a little timer. If you guys have any questions, chat it up in the chat and we'll answer your questions. But for example, if you have a person who is a first-time home buyer, they are probably going to be starting to have kids or they have little ones, right? So think about what would be important to them in 5 years. School district, elementary school, those types of things, okay? So if they have high schoolers, like they're probably thinking about downsizing and doing something else in their life, getting rid of their kids. So just remember, wherever they're at, think about process of where they're going.
And I think we should condense it down to about 5 minutes.
5 minutes it is.
We have a little waiting music.
Yes, in my ear. Alexa, play Morgan Wallen.
Here's a station based on Morgan Wallen.
Bama red 4Runner pulling to the party with a 30 sticker on the back windshield. Two-tone tank top slipping off her shoulder. Kind of girl wants to step out the world stand still. Ooh, I know where this is going. I already know it's easy. Somebody's problem, somebody's goodbye, somebody's last call number that they can't find, somebody's best day, somebody's worst night, somebody's reason for leaving on the porch light. Think about them taillights, and I'm thinking, damn, I love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. Somebody's problem, somebody's problems about to be mine, about to be mine. Kind of girl, once you've had her, you can't stand to lose her. Kind of girl where your friends tell you don't live it up. Kind of girl that goes from trying to just get her number to sliding through the summer to talking about love. Ooh, I think I'm liking where it's going. I'd like to tell me somebody's problem, somebody's goodbye, somebody's last call number that they can't find, somebody's best day, somebody's worst night, somebody's reason for leaving on the porch light. Think about the taillights, and I'm thinking, damn, I love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. Somebody's problem, somebody's problems about to be mine, about to be mine. Oh, hey baby, don't you keep me waiting. Oh, let me get to fixing somebody's problem, somebody's goodbye, somebody's last call number that they can't find, somebody's best day, somebody's worst night, somebody's reason for leaving on the porch light. Think about the taillights, and I'm thinking, damn, I love to drown in them heartbreaker blue eyes. Somebody's problem, somebody's problems about to be mine, about to be mine, about to be mine, about to be mine. Jack D, they're sipping on the label. One glass on the living room table. Phone face down, shirts up loud. Just trying to drown you out tonight. But first sip, I can feel you on my shoulder. Tennessee heat had me feeling colder. Thought a drink would get you off my mind. But this bottle tastes like 865 409 1021. Yeah, one last time. Don't think twice, girl, just pick it up and come over. In the bedroom door, a little closer. Know I told you I wouldn't call and outside. This bottle tastes like 865 409. This bottle tastes like 865 1021. You might think I don't really want you with me. You might tell me to empty out my whiskey. But try to change what I'm holding in my hand. Try another liquor, try another brain. But it don't matter if I get my lips on a different drink, on a different night. Yeah, the second that I take a sip, all I'm gonna think is this bottle tastes like 865 409 1021. Yeah, one last time. Don't think twice, girl, just pick it up and come over. In the bedroom door, a little closer. Know I told you I wouldn't call and outside. This bottle tastes like 865
Alexa, stop. Okay, guys, we are back. Okay, so I hope everyone got their exercise done. If you guys need help after, just send us a chat message directly, and we can help you after today's training. So here we go, guys. Next steps. So regarding the next steps, if you guys have not joined our Facebook group community, we are streaming live there right now. Please go and join us if you haven't yet. We post a lot of valuable content that will help you build a business, nurture your clients, and convert immediately and lasting as well. So we're able to have those relationships that last the entire amount of your business. Number 2 always is take action. This is the perfect opportunity, the perfect season to do so, because it's a holiday season. It's a great time to reach out to people. So yes, go build, nurture, and convert, and at the end, build a lasting business.
Boom.
So we have our giveaways that I was talking about. We are super excited. There is several people here that are going to get some gifts. And then in that case, we also have some special things for you that we were not even going to release, but we decided to go ahead and do so this morning just because everyone is doing such a great job. So our giveaways are going to be for the most number of referrals in the database entries, the most prospective clients, and the most referrals received. So that is what we're going to be doing giveaways with. Those will be announced in the Facebook group today.
All right.
Super excited. Stay tuned. But we also have a couple of other things. One, we just wanted to say congratulations to everyone who completed the challenge. You guys are rock stars. Why? Because this is the stuff that really creates a business that lasts. It starts with a foundation, a firm foundation, one that is built on a solid starting point right here with a database and relationships. Those are the 2 important things to keep your business always growing and never have a crack that damages your business later on. So just congratulations, round of applause to everyone.
Yes, and I personally want to say, congratulations, Kama. You've shown up live every week, and I just want to say congratulations for putting in the effort, for putting in the investment into yourself. And so I'm just really proud of you, and it's showing because now you're like, I've got all these deals that I've got to write up, and I've got all these things going on. So see what happens when you show up for yourself, man. We're just so stinking proud of you.
We really are. And there is so much to come. So actually, the next one is going to be 2 special gifts. One is going to be for the entire group. We are going to give this away to everyone who has joined our Facebook community and everyone who has come into our database building challenge, because you guys are putting in the work. And so we want to give you guys something to really help you convert your clients or these prospects at a higher level. So number 1 giveaway is going to be what we call objection handlers. Cynthia, why is objection handlers so important?
It is specifically important because right now we're probably, within the shift, we're hearing a lot of roadblocks, right? Like you've got some buyers that are maybe falling out saying, I'm not going to go ahead and purchase because the interest rates are too high. Or maybe you've got sellers that are saying, yeah, right now is not the time to list. And I'm not going to make as much money as my neighbor just did 6 months ago. Right. So now we've actually had some agents come to us and say, man, I was so stumped when I heard those objections and I didn't know how to get over them. And so with that in mind, we created some objection handlers to be able to address their concerns and their objections and their fears in real time. So we're excited to be able to walk you through the things that we've said that actually help to provide opportunity, to help your clients see the opportunity in moving forward now and what the benefits and the advantages are right now in this shift in this market.
And we're going to be giving you resources in that objection handler, not just scripts, but actual resources you can send to your client. So then they can then say, you know what, you're right. Some people need proof, right? People need news or links or stats. And so we're going to provide that information in there as well, because at the end of the day, we want every single one of you to have the tools and the resources to be super, super successful. And this is one that we've created from our team and from our personal transactions. And so we're going to share those secrets with you today. So that is going to be on this link right here. So if you guys, I'm going to ask, see if I will put it in the chat in 5 seconds if I can figure out how to do it. Okay, we're not technology savvy over here. But we'll put this in the chat box right now, and then we'll also put it in the group in the comments so you guys can go ahead and click on it. Now, the second part to this is we are going to be giving away 2 things right now. Yes, we give away the objection handlers, but there's 2 things that we have for you today. One is going to be something you will find once you go in and get your objection handler. You will be receiving a 50% discount on our actual recession-proof your business course, which we are right now giving it away at 50% off for everyone who has joined our challenge or come into our Facebook group. And the only way you can get that discount is going through this link after you get your objection handlers. So that's number 1. This right here is what's going to be in that course. Cynthia, walk us through what is a recession-proof business.
Okay, so it's no secret anymore. I got my license back in 2008, back when the Titanic was literally called the real estate industry was plummeting to the bottom of the ocean. And it was a scary time for a lot of people. And what I did was I hunkered in. I did not know real estate. I did not know the first thing about buying or selling a home other than just what I had learned from real estate school. Okay. And I had just gotten out of a really crazy bad relationship. And I had the pressure of life on one side and the pressure of trying to make it in a failing market on the other and learn a whole new industry altogether. And I just remember the first time I role played, some of the agents in the office literally gave me 2 weeks. They're like, bro, I give this girl 2 weeks to last in this business. And little do they know, I ended up kicking their butts month after month after month in production. So this little 2-weeker ended up becoming the top producer in my entire market at the time when I started in Arlington, Texas, back in 2008. And so with my consistent practice, I came up with a system that allowed me to truly thrive through that recession. I mean, we had foreclosures left and right. We had short sales like nobody's business, and they were hard. Okay. And people were bailing, lenders, realtors were all bailing and they were jumping ship. And so I stayed the course, and I created a process that actually allowed me. At the time, I was just a buyer's agent working at one of those big box brokerages. And I was in one of those old traditional models where you only had buyer's agents and then you only had like a seller's agent. Okay. So I was that buyer's agent, and me alone, I was closing, anywhere from 5 to 6 transactions on a regular, consistent basis every month. So that meant that I was constantly dealing with about 10 buyers at one time, all the time. And so I had to come up with a process that would allow me to manage that amount of business and still keep my hair, keep my wits, and, keep my sanity. And so I'm going to show you the process that I learned. And over time, Nicole and I have actually perfected because we just went through a big shift during COVID, right? And so, it was crazy. It was fire on wheels, right? And now here we are back into another proposed recession. And so this process has never failed me. It's kept me very successful for 13 years. I've never had to worry about money because of this system. And so we're excited to roll this out. We're excited to share this with the rest of you guys. And if you're ready to not participate in this recession and thrive just like I did back in 2008, then we're going to do this thing together.
Absolutely. Thank you, Cynthia, for sharing your story. This has been the system that we have taught our team and our agents for over 10 years now. And this system is the one that has built the business. If they're a new agent, or if they are an agent who's been in the business for 10 years, 15 years, how to fill in those gaps or those cracks that they currently have where they are not as profitable because they're allowing that little piece to just take out that profit that they could have. So what Cynthia and I started talking about was, how can we maximize the profit in our business? How can we really sit there and say, you know what, these are the areas where most agents have trouble. These are the areas where most agents can improve, where if you move the needle, it moves the most in your profitability. Because guys, if we say, you know what, hey, you're doing 10 transactions right now, and your average sales price is $300,000. Well, let's do 50 transactions at $150,000. Bad idea, right? Mm-hmm. That's not about the number of transactions necessarily, right? Yes, the database challenge is about building a profitable business with 50 plus transactions next year. But what we were talking about was the price range that you were wanting to work with, your ideal client to do those 50 transactions, right? So at the end of the day, where your profit is so important. And how we went through these last few weeks of showing you how to make it most profitable, not spending ads on Zillow, not spending money on people who are C's or B's instead of A pluses, where to really maximize your return on your investment. Because again, you're running a business. So this course that we have is called a masterclass for 5 days. And we are actually going to show you how to build from the foundation up. And if you're already an agent who's been in the business for many years, where those cracks are and how to fill them. That's what this is all about, because we want everyone to be successful. We don't want anyone to fail at this business. I was hearing a statistic just the other day, how many agents had already quit and gone and gotten a job. it saddens me. It hurts me to see that they can be successful if they just had the right tools and resources to do so and to succeed through these harder times. And honestly, not just succeed, but thrive through them. And so that's why we want to share this information with you. So again, everyone gets 50% off if you go through the objection handlers link, which was just put in the chat. And we're also going to be giving away one of these to the person who is the most improved from the database challenge. We're going to be giving away a complete 5-day masterclass, which here is the dates. So the Recession Proof Your Business Masterclass is going to be December 12th through 16th, Monday through Friday. For VIPs, it's going to be 11 to 1, and for general admission, it's going to be from 12 to 1. So VIPs get an entire additional hour with us, and that way that you can ask any questions, you can really dig in to the specific problems or the specific crack that you have in your business to make sure that we really move that needle at the end of those 5 days, that you're significantly more profitable at the end. So this right here is the schedule. Again, we have the link in the chat so you guys get registered, and we will be giving away one complete masterclass. And so we are going to be announcing that in about 5 seconds. So that way you guys will not be in any more suspense. If you guys want to connect with us or ask me more questions regarding the masterclass, the link has a lot of that information, but also this is our email address. You can connect with us or DM us, and we can answer any questions specifically if you have concerns about what we're going to be covering or the crack that you specifically have in your business, if we're going to be able to address it in this masterclass. So again, thank you guys so much for joining us on our amazing 3-week adventure together, and I'm so proud of every single one of you. So we are going to be giving away one, and that person is Kama.
Woo!
Hey,
Right on,
congratulations.
bro. Way to show up for yourself, man. We like to
really have.
reward people that like to invest in themselves. So this is a gift for you, my friend.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
You're welcome.
So I am going to go ahead and log off as far as this week's challenge. But if anyone has any questions, you're welcome to